Oh, yate, good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. It is a little bit overcast. The weather for the past about 4 or 5 days has been chilly. Fortunately, it hasn't gone below freezing, but it has hovered like 35, 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So the garden seems to be okay. Let me check it out real quick. But yeah, today is day 7 of my 200 days of growing food. Not much has happened. Let me see. Friday, I did plant the jalapenos. I planted 40 of them. But with this cold weather, they're done. They're gone. Jalapenos are all peppers. Peppers are tropicals. They don't like the cold weather. So even though it didn't get below freezing, they're done. So, oh well, I tried. But the tomatoes are doing really well. I still put the mason jar over them at night, and if it's a crappy day, I'll cover them with a jar. It was sunnier earlier, but now the clouds are back today. I think today's the last day where we're gonna have this cooler, below average weather, and by tomorrow it'll start warming back up. By Saturday we'll be back into the mid 70s for the highs, and the lows will be in the upper 40s. So it'll be back to spring. But we are appreciative for all this moisture though, and it hasn't rained hard here. It's just been like gentle rain off and on. So it looks to be raining way over there in the distance, but where I'm at, nothing. And then way over there, you can see it's all sunny. So that's the sporadic isolated thunderstorms that we're having here. Saturday, day 3, I didn't do much. I did first thing no work here in the garden. Saturday, this past Saturday, May 3rd, was the first, May 3rd, May 2nd, but it was the first Saturday of the month. And around here, when it's the first Saturday of the month, a lot of people go to the border towns. I went to Gallup, but other people on the reservation, they'll go to like Flagstaff in Arizona, or if you live more northern on the res, they'll go to Farmington. So that's what we do on the first of Saturdays. A lot of people avoid it, but since I was gonna go to the flea market to sell, that was a perfect time to go. So I ended up going to the flea market. I got there by 8:50 a.m. I lucked out and got one of the last spots remaining, and I just set up for a bit, and gosh, by 12:20, I was able to move 14 dozen eggs to followers, to random people. And speaking of which, I ran into a lot of followers that follow me on TikTok at the flea market, so it was really nice meeting everybody over there. Then afterwards, I was starving. I was actually saving my appetite because last Saturday, my friend acquaintance, she told me that they're going to be there making pizza and selling them for $10 by that pink building on the northwest corner, T-Boss. So I waited, I went that way, and she wasn't there. So I don't know what happened. So I ended up fully circling the flea market, and I stopped off at JDT. That's always a given to go to. She hooked me up with the Shahart drink. It's my favorite drink. Then after that, I just left the flea market and went to Tractor Supply, got some feed for the chickens. Went to Holiday Nursery in Gallup, got some plants. And I left Gallup not too long after, so that was my Saturday. Sunday, I did absolutely nothing beyond feeding and regular chores. I just chilled because I was preparing for this upcoming week, so that was day 4. Monday, day 5, my father and I, we were working in the front yard. We've been dismantling that island planting, and what we've been doing is bringing all that dirt over here, because over a decade of erosion, we've lost about 1 foot of topsoil over here. So with all the silt, all the dirt we're removing from that island, it's going over here. And my father went as far as he can. Getting as much stuff as he can out. But there's some plants, like these huge Perovskia. I want to keep these, and the yucca in this Callery, our Bradford pear tree. So these are going to go elsewhere. So I need to get a home ready for all these plants first, and then they can get dug out with the tractor, and they can be replanted. Once they're all out of here replanted, then this whole area can be completely scraped flat. And I'm wondering, my market gardens, I'm wondering it ends right there to maybe possibly extending it to, I don't know how far. What I got to do is look up what's a good high tunnel to put, like what's a good average decent length, cost length to put right here. 50 feet, 75 feet, 100 feet. And that back fence over there, that's gonna be the back end because there's gonna be a road over there. But I gotta see how far, if I need to bump it out, because I wanna get a garden started and I wanna work with NRCS next year and see if I can help get funded a high tunnel to plant right here. I know with NRCS, you can't put a high tunnel for a new garden. You have to already be growing there existing. So I wanna find the ideal high tunnel and then start planting in its footprint, and then everything will be good. But with that being said, over here, all these plants, I want to put them over here. So what we plan to do is, this was tilled, you can kind of see how far it was tilled. Right here in this area, start scooping with the tractor and move it just over here where I put some dirt already. I want this to be a road that's gonna curve around the market garden and go that way. And once all this dirt starts getting removed and put over here, this is where all the Russian sage, the yucca, and that tree are gonna go in here. I did say that I want the tree in the orchard, but I don't know, we'll see where it ends up. So that's the plan. And this is the remainder of all those rocks that we took out. We did load up 2 truckloads of these rocks, and I took them to my friend's place in Crownpoint. And I'm doing her and her partner's backyard garden. And their neighbor sits higher, and when it rains, erosion occurs. So I thought, how can we fix that? And the best thing to do is retaining a wall. But I said, I need material, and I said, I have all these rocks. So I'm putting in the work, getting all this labor going to move these rocks. So if I need more rocks, I'll transport another one. But I unloaded those rocks all by myself, man. I was tired Monday, late afternoon. My forearm, I couldn't grip anymore. Even today, my forearms are still sore. I've never had that kind of soreness in my forearms before. Oh, and then my upper back, like, there's muscle underneath all this. So it was nice to feel that soreness before, because I've never had that type of soreness before. So I feel good though, but man, I was tired. Like Tuesday, I was just wordless. I couldn't do much. But Tuesday, that was yesterday, I met with this lady named Hazel Tohi. She works kind of her one woman show, but she's a contractor, and she works with other ranchers, farmers. She likes to work with like water, aquifer recharge. And since I'm big in agriculture for gardening, we connected, and she's working with the Red Willow Farm Project in Tohatchi, New Mexico, which it's obscured now, but there's a mountains over there in the back. Tohatchi sits on the bench of those mountains. They have a big planting site, and I didn't know how big it was until I went to their farm board meeting yesterday. I think, if I heard it correctly, it's over 900 acres of land set aside for growing food, for gardening. And they said this year they only have 10 growers. And as a grower, I said, is it only open to community members? Can anyone do it? She said, yeah. So I met with the president of the Red Willow Project. I also met with the chapter president and then their Tohatchi's delegate. But all that land and space, it's available for anyone to use. And I believe you can get up to 2 acres of land for you. And the best part is there's water already. They put in a well. They put a water tank on top of this hill on the plateau. And then from that water tank, all the water lines connect all over to these parcels that are just bare. Weeds are growing, and they're ready for planting. So I'm considering, man, maybe I should get or should I get a parcel? But then how am I gonna water? I live it's like a half-hour drive, if not longer. So maybe that's something I can work towards, because I would love to have 2 acres and have access to water to grow out there. I'm thinking I want to start an orchard, like my little food forest over there with the trees. I would love to do that out there. So I'm like, wheels got turning. But halfway through the meeting, I had to leave to the hospital. I got fitted for a new scleral contact lens. I'm not wearing it right now, I'm still wearing my glasses, but got my new lens, fits really well. And then went back to the chapter meeting. We had some pizza, and then after the meeting, I wanted to see the Red Willow farm. So Hazel and I, she took me, we went down there to the site, and it's off the highway. There's a little sign, but it's probably like another 3 miles off the highway. And we opened the gate, got through, we parked, and then I flew my drone around, and man, it's huge. And you see all that space and land, and they're only doing like 9 acres at the front. And they have all this space and the water's available. So I was like, man, I want to help and get on that. So I'm going to be working through Hazel as a consultant, working with Red Willow Farm Project. And they already want to do a workshop for the community. So I'm thinking 2 weeks from now, I think the week before Memorial Day, do a planting workshop or something out there. And it's beautiful out there. And I could just see the potential of what can be with all that space out there. And I feel like if there was a lot of investment money, they could build like big commercial greenhouses and grow food year round. And Tehachapi could be a huge powerhouse economically for the growing of fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe even raising animals. Like 900 acres, that's a lot of space, and they need more growers, and they only have 10 people that are participating. So shoot, man, I said, can I spread the word and let people know? They said, yeah, absolutely. So I got to meet with them more. I have more questions because the water lines are out there, but I'm like, how do you tap into the water line? So I still have some more questions about what's going on out there. But this Red Willow Farm Project, it wasn't even on my radar for this 200 days of growing food, but now it's going to probably take up like a third of my time right now. So I'm really excited. They have the land, they have the water, they have the back end of the chapter, they have heavy equipment. All you need is some fencing and some labor. But yeah, that was yesterday. And today it's cool. Beyond watering the chickens, getting the feed ready, I'm just inside. I'm still kind of tired, resting. Tomorrow I gotta get back out to Crownpoint, start building that retaining wall. And then Friday I have a meeting with Standing Rock Community Center. They want to continue a garden project. I applied for a grant. I think it was the New Mexico Farmers Association. They rescinded that grant for 10 grand because we're not a urban center, and you know that money's gone. So I know they still want to do a gardening project. So I'll meet with them Friday and see, you know, what can we do. But I'm getting stretched enough as it is. My garden now with the Red Willow project, that I have my 2 clients' gardens in Crownpoint. So I don't want to overcommit and, you know, go crazy. So I got to see what happens after that meeting on Friday, and maybe after the weekend, think about what's going on. That's kind of about it. And gosh, going back to Saturday, I got these plants, some celery, some tomatoes, snapdragons from Home Depot. I got these tomatoes from Holiday Nursery and Gallup, some green cabbage, purple cabbage. The prices at Holiday Nursery, it depends. So the vegetables, like these tomatoes, they're 3 packs. Look at how big these are. $4 for these 3 packs. And when you go to Home Depot or Walmart, they have those Bonnie brands, those little peat pots with a plastic rim. $5 or $4.98, $5 for those, and you only get 1 plant. So I was thinking, man, if you need vegetables, go to Holiday Nursery. Way better deals, and the plants are bigger. But the flowers, they're a little more expensive. Home Depot started having flowers, but their variety was really slim pickings, whereas Holiday Nursery had everything: petunias, geraniums, lobelia, everything. Whereas Home Depot, it was more hit or miss. So yeah, it was interesting. But anyways, the sun's gone now. It's a little chilly right now, so I'm gonna sit down, start editing, and I think after I edit, I'll probably post a video 6 p.m. ish when people get off work, and just rest, plan for tomorrow, get back and start building that retaining wall in Crownpoint. So that's first week in the bag. We'll see what happens from here on out. So yeah, thank you for watching. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe already. Yalla. It could really help my metrics. So that being said, be well, be safe, stay warm, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.